My guess is there are a lot of folks out there who are newly retired, or maybe you're semi-retired and you've saved all your life, you've invested, and now what you're saying is, you know what, I'm going to treat myself. I deserve to splurge. I'm going to buy some things that I've always wanted. Well, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about 9 costly purchases that retirees almost always regret making. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to tell you about the 9, give you some reasons why these may not and probably aren't the wisest purchases that you can make. That's all up next right here on Over 50 TV. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes, and yes, in this video, we're going to be talking about 9 costly purchases that retirees almost always regret. And if you are like me, if you're somebody who's retired, or like myself, who's semi-retired, you're looking back and you're saying, you know what, I've saved this money, I've made these investments, and I deserve to splurge. I deserve to buy this big, costly item. Well, I can tell you what, most folks will regret making those purchases. I'm going to talk about the 9 costly purchases that you really have to think twice before you start down that road to purchasing that item. So we're going to talk about that. Before I do, though, I just want to mention that if you are, as I said, if you're somebody who's like me, you're semi-retired, you're still in the workforce, maybe you have a desire to start your own business. You know, you want that side hustle, bringing in those rivers of cash. Well, I've got in the description box of this video, I've got my side hustle starter kit. It is a free kit that walks you through the first 8 steps of starting a business. And it could be a full-time business or it could be a side hustle. But the link to that free side hustle starter kit's in the description box. Check it out if you are somebody who's thinking about starting that business. So now let's dive into 9 costly purchases retirees almost always regret. Timeshares. If you're going to buy a timeshare, go in with your eyes wide open, because there are many retirees who regret buying a timeshare because of the often unexpected fees and maintenance costs, which can escalate over time. Additionally, there is often limited flexibility when it comes to scheduling, and the destinations, well, you know what, it may just not be the ideal destination for you. Yeah, you've got this idea in mind, but it's not going to be available, so you've got to have to look and see if there's some other place you can go to. Timeshares, what I have found, can be burdensome rather than providing that leisurely and cost-effective vacation that you initially envisioned. High-end luxury vehicles, yes. Number 2, without a question. You know, it's something that you dream about. Maybe many of us out there, at least I know myself, growing up, I was like, I'm buying that 911. I can't wait to buy that Porsche. I am dreaming about it every single day. That's what I'm working for. Got the picture on my wall. But you know, splurging on a luxury car or maybe even an RV, it can often lead to regret among many retirees, especially when you consider the upkeep costs. They can be too high. And I'm not just talking actually about upkeep costs. I'm talking about insurance, that car insurance. It can really, really be very, very high. Also, if you decide you're going to buy an RV, you've dreamed about it, you wanted it, you buy it, well, you know what? Chances are you're not going to utilize that vehicle as often as you anticipated. This is definitely one of those costly purchases that retirees can almost always regret. A larger home. That's not me. Never wanted a larger home, but there are many retirees who often regret purchasing a larger home because of the higher upkeep costs. And I say higher, I mean they are going to be higher because obviously you are in a larger home. And you're going to have higher property taxes, higher maintenance, and higher utilities. Additionally, what you're going to find is that space that you have, that larger space, it's unnecessary. You've got too much to manage. And it's too much to manage as you age, and it just becomes more burdensome as the years go by. And it just leads not only to just being that extra burden, but it leads to being a financial strain. Second home. Yeah, second home. It was one of my dreams growing up. I wanted always wanted to buy that farm, that 100+ acre farm. Yeah, I'd drive my Porsche up that long driveway to my farm. But what many retirees find is they regret buying that second home because they underestimated the costs associated with property taxes and maintenance, and then the travel costs just to get to that second location. Additionally, they may find that they prefer to spend their retirement differently. Maybe not on a farm. You want to spend it differently, and it makes that second home unnecessary. Exotic vacations. This is not really me, although I do enjoy going and traveling to some exotic island. But I don't do it all the time. And I don't do it all the time because expensive trips can provide fun, and they can provide excitement, and they can provide memories, but they don't provide lasting value. And I find many retirees often regret spending heavily on these exotic locations or exotic travel because, yeah, it's expensive. And you could have potentially, if you do it too many times, financial strain, boats and RVs. And this is certainly one of those big purchases that I find many retirees often, or let's just say almost always, regret. And retirees, they can regret this because they're splurging on the boat or that nice RV. Yeah, there are significant costs associated with maintenance and storage and insurance. And moreover, these purchases, well, they can lead to limited use. And especially if you're like me, you live in a state in the U.S. where we have a winter where you really can't enjoy that boat that you just dreamed about. It doesn't make any sense. These purchases, not only is there limited enjoyment because there's limited use, but what you find is that you're not using this product, this vehicle, as frequently as you anticipated, and there is financial strain. And then, of course, there is disappointment. Risky investments, and this is number 7 on my list. And yes, I do understand that folks who are making what can only be termed a risky investment, they're speculators, they're hoping to cash in, they're hoping to take the gold to the bank. But you know what? Speculative ventures, they can lead to financial losses, and retirees often regret these risky investments because of the potential for them to incur significant financial losses, which could jeopardize their retirement savings, paying for a child's major home repair. How many of us out there who have children? Obviously, we love them. We want to help them as much as we possibly can. But retirees often regret covering these major home repairs for their children because it can strain their own finances. And when it does that, when it strains their finances, it can jeopardize their retirement savings, and it can create something that you want to avoid at all costs, and that is dependency. You don't want your children to depend on you for every major issue, every expensive major issue that they encounter. Excessive dining out. This is number 9 on my list. And I think the best way to describe this major purchase and tell you how it can impact your savings and your retirement and even impact your ability to invest. I think I can best explain this through a very short story. I have 2 good friends of mine, husband and wife. She's still working 30 hours a week, I believe it is. He's retired. They go out frequently. They dine out all of the time. They go on their boat. They enjoy the club. They enjoy spending money. And what has happened over time is their savings have dwindled. They've gone down and down and down to the point where the gentleman asked his wife to continue working because they need the money. They didn't plan. They didn't realize how this excessive dining out was going to impact the retirement lifestyle, and now it's impacting both of them. So excessive dining out is a real thing. It happens. If you can save that money, if you don't dine out, what you can do is save it and you can invest it wisely so that you'll have a more stable retirement. Well, there you go, my friends. I've just told you about 9 costly purchases that retirees almost always regret. If you have any questions whatsoever, please go ahead, send me an email or make a comment in the comment section of this video. Also, I do want to remind you that I do have my free side hustle starter kit. As I said, if you're somebody who's out there, you're deciding you are retired or you're semi-retired, you want to make some extra money, you want those rivers of cash to come in, well, start or consider at least starting a side business or maybe even a full-time business. But check out my side hustle starter kit. Again, it walks you through those 8 steps, the first 8 steps of starting a business from scratch. That's all I got for you. As I always say, have a great day, everybody.